Lately, I have been reflecting on how a leader's personality permeates an organization and it can create a culture of the organization. It has reminded me of the study of the science of generosity. So I'm reading a quote from The Paradox of Generosity by Christian Smith and Hilary Davidson, 2014 edition. The quote begins, "Practicing generosity often has the power to overcome those life-corroding tendencies and outlooks and lead to better health and greater happiness. How so? In most cases, in order to start practicing true generosity, people have to come to terms with whether they believe they live in a world of scarcity or abundance." This deeply emotional, existential issues we are discussing here have to be confronted and resolved. Generosity will always be reluctant, anxious, and hesitant when it comes out of a believed world of scarcity. And that means that it will probably not last very long or be very useful. But the moral challenge of generosity can push people to confront and overcome their emotional existential fears about insufficiency, their psychological perceptions of scarcity as a mode of life that governs their world. Sometimes this is a gradual process. Other times it can be dramatic. No matter how it happens, the testimony of those who have shifted their minds, spirits, and emotions from an imagined world of scarcity and insecurity to one of abundance, blessing, sufficiency, and overflow is almost always the same. It is liberating. It removes a weight, a burden, a nagging fear. It sets one free to appreciate and enjoy what one has, rather than being burdened with the wish that one had more or worry about losing it. This kind of personal transformation shores up the personal security grounded in believing that, whatever the future holds, one will always have enough. It makes every bite more tasty, every sensual enjoyment more pleasurable, every good more blessed, every sunset more beautiful, every embrace more warm, every day more of a gift. And it often also makes one want to share what one has with others, that is, to become a lot more generous. This is the experience and testimony of people who have undergone the paradigm revolution from an understood world of scarcity to one of abundance. End quote. If a leader's personality tends towards siloing and defending territory, then the organization starts to reflect a culture of insecurity and scarcity. Employees can feel as though every interaction with donors, volunteers, and community partners has to either defend one's own organization or take as much as possible for one's own mission. If a leader's personality tends towards collaboration and welcoming opposing ideas, then the organization starts to reflect a culture of sufficiency and overflow. Let's reflect on 2 questions this week. If you work for an organization with a culture of scarcity and insecurity, what are ways that you can fortify a culture of abundance in yourself and that which you have direct control over? If one of your community partners is stuck in a culture of insecurity and scarcity, how can you create boundaries so that that culture doesn't permeate the culture of the nonprofit you serve? And how can you model a culture of abundance in your own organization to your community? Please share this podcast if you enjoy these 5-minute reflections on the beautiful space where generosity occurs. Subscribe today. And to explore fundraising coaching deeper, visit servingnonprofits.com. See you next week.